When it comes to medium format photography, I was reading an article as I was leaving town. A bunch of photojournalists went out to go shoot something, and one photojournalist went out with a medium format camera. And she admitted that when she went out with this Rolleicord camera, she shot differently. She was like, okay, because of my limitations of the camera, I'm going to shoot more portraits and things like that. And she came back with some beautiful portraits to try and tell the story there. Now, as a photojournalist, I usually try to get there, catch action, saying, this is how this happened. Portraits can be used to tell a whole story, but it was interesting to see that, hey, the photographer went out and she actually admitted she was limited by the camera she was using, and she had to change her style. So as I'm in Dominican Republic, I want to see how my style is changed because of the limitation of my camera. Hey team, so if you've been following my Instagram, you probably realized that I went to the Dominican Republic. So for that challenge, I actually took something a little bit different. Instead of taking my big X6 Fujifilm camera, instead I took my Rolleicord. Now I got into the Rolleicord photography game probably a few years ago. One of my friends was a photographer who liked to try to finish film and shoot exclusively with film. So matching his style, I went around with this bad boy as well. So this is what I went to the Dominican Republic with. But don't worry, Fujifilm guys, almost all of my film was Fuji color film. So I'm still true to it. I want to take this time to really go ahead and look at some of the photos I shot in the Dominican Republic and look at the difference from when I shoot digital to when I shoot film, which is very strange for people in my generation. Now, I'm a kid of the 80s, so I grew up with a lot of cameras around my house, so I had film, but I didn't have a lot of money, so film wasn't always my first choice. Digital changed the game for me because I could practice, figure out things, and not have to wait 4 or 5 days for my prints to come back or spend $100 on a few rolls of film. Speaking of which, for this camera, I actually use 120mm film, and to process the 7 rolls we're going to look at today, that cost me about $160. Now I know there's cheaper ways of doing it, but I'm in DC, this is what my camera store offered me. Back when I was in Japan, I had the good fortune of having that friend actually go and process my photos for me. I just paid for his film, I just paid for the film and all the supplies, and he took care of everything for me. So I got really spoiled. So now I'm trying to do this here. I realized I may not want to shoot film forever. But let's go ahead and get into some of the photos that we shot. So let's get into the seven reels. Okay. Exposure was good. I was basically using my phone. I had a exposure app that told me what my settings were on my camera. But pretty good exposure, pretty standard, civilian shot. I like this. So shooting with this camera here, my style changed. I was very much in a pedestrian view, whereas with my digital camera, I'm shooting a lot more intimately. This one, I was kind of like walking by. Cool, but I can tell my focus is off. Nice moment of action, but there's not much to see here. I like what I was trying to do. Can't say I was very successful. This is cool. I like where I was going with this. I think that I can save this later. Me trying again, and you can still see I have that barrier. I mean, say what we will about big cameras, but I'm sitting here with a gigantic metal camera in my hand, and it really drew attention to what I was doing. So cool. A lot of landscape photos. Not really my style to shoot landscape, but I see that I was going more for architectural. Okay. If you know me, I like patterns and things that can square out and just fill the whole frame. So if I edit this might be something. Cool. Church, I realized, I was in somewhere dark and my ISO was at 400 for all my rolls of film. And I know higher exposure and ISO is usually more expensive, so I really didn't go that route. See, now you see where it degrades, where I'm trying to push the limits of the settings. So it's like really grainy. I don't know what happened there. Again, me trying something different. I like where I was going with this, the colors and the composition, but I didn't have a good focus point because I have a fixed lens. Cool tourist photo. I actually walked by while the action was starting to happen, so that was on me just not trying hard enough. All right, roll 2. Let's see what we got here. All right, pigeons flying around, and in Zona Colonial, there's a lot of pigeons around there, and that's a big thing. You feed the pigeons, they jump on you and things like that. It was cool. One of my tour guides who was showing me around, obviously I was not shooting very well. That's cool, but I don't think my focus is on point enough for me to really save that. Again, you started seeing me trying to push my ISOs. This is where I went out at night, so I was trying to shoot at below 60th of a second at a 3.5, which was the lowest that this camera will go at. Good effort, but sometimes you just can't do what you can't do with that ISO. I mean, I see where my mind was, but just an unsuccessful shoot. All right, spool 3. Let's see what we did here. Okay, this is where I was really kind of walking around the town, digging into some of the locals. That's cool. I was going for the fish and the guy with the... It's not exactly what I want, but I think I can save this. Again, cool. It's really funny to see some of this old technology in a modern city, so I was really interested in things like that. Okay, another tourist photo. I can see what I was trying for. The thing is, when you shoot with the medium format camera, especially with this twin lens thing, you're shooting almost a perspective a little bit higher than what you're seeing. So in this photo here, you can totally see that I was wanting it to be lower, but I didn't really account for the fact that I was shooting a little bit higher than what my lens was showing. Cool, I like textures. Okay, I didn't want to sit there and take a big architectural photo, but at the same time, I felt like it was something I could make. And you see me trying to make it work. No, this I like. I can make this work. But then again, this is me shooting medium format where I'm literally just shooting perspective wise, like, hey, what's in front of me, that's what I'm shooting. So things with balance really worked out for me to get a successful shoot. Tried, but not so great. This is me sitting at a bar doing window shopping to, take photos. And I guess yet again, through my viewfinder, I was seeing it perfectly without any obstructions, but my lens was lower, so I got the table in the shot. I went out with a specific purpose to catch this shot, and it didn't come out well. I actually shot it with my iPhone as well, so you probably saw that on my Instagram. Much better execution than this, which is a real shame. Again, me walking around some more. Okay, that's pretty cool. All right, so not exactly successful, but we're doing okay. Eesh. Well, I don't know what happened here. You can see it's like super grainy and the exposure's off. I don't know if that's a processing thing or if that was me, but whatever, it didn't work. Again, that's me trying to shoot it. I don't know what's going on here, but obviously my exposure's not right, and you're starting to see it's almost like someone tried to brighten a photo. I don't know if that was me or processors, but let's go. Okay, that's cool. Kind of a perspective of what I see when I look up, which I always do. I look up. So this is an unsuccessful shoot by my part because there was these stairs and zigs and zags. I wanted to catch it. Couldn't really pull it off. A little late on the action on that one, but I do like the exposure. I was trying to show the leading lines and patterns, but just not enough there to sell this. So when I was walking around, I saw this little monument here. Basically, Dominican Republic, they had this fort there which they would use to fight off pirates and things like that. And this is one of the walls I saw. That was just one part of the city is just pristine, like this is a colonial space. And you see this part here where it's towards a residential neighborhood where people just start taking advantage of the space. Again, this is me walking around residential and starting to see things a little bit differently. And this is where I think that I was successful. This is a successful photo. Me trying again, but not exactly what I want. I could probably use that for something, but it's not a good standalone. Saw a moment, tried to take a photo. He saw me, so obviously I changed. Cool. My focus isn't on point enough to sell this. Okay. I was in the street library. That was really cool. sitting here trying to work the angles, but I think that this is the more successful photo, the one where we're talking about just, hey, the panel in front of me. All right, not so bad. All right, next spool, let's see how we did. So this is where I actually started taking portraits. My focus wasn't on point, but that portrait came out successful. That's pretty nice. Okay, so I was at a bar in Boca Chica, and this guy is over the fence. He sees me with this camera. He's like, hey, take my photo. And I rushed to take the shot, and obviously I missed my focus. The bartender, he was cool. It's really weird. I see this line on the side of the photo. I don't know what that's about. Cool. Me really trying to work this beach, trying to see things. Again, me trying to do a quick shot, and obviously my focus wasn't on point. Cool. This is where I was window shopping again. Too bad I'm not getting more detail in so many shadows. Now, what you can't really see is under the car there was a dog, and I was taking a photo of that. But again, unsuccessful. Cool little skeleton in a window. Again, a architecture photo. Cool street photo. I like this moment. I just like people, watching people kind of do their thing. And this is a kind of cute moment. I wish that pole wasn't in the middle, but it's not too bad. And a park that I thought was really cool, but obviously the elements get lost. Another photo. So my photo's a little bit out of order, but this one worked better. It looks right, and yeah, I think I can work with that. Let's see what happens. Next spool, let's see what we got here. Cool. My angles are a little bit off, but that road was slanted. Pier. Like I said, for some reason pirates would come through this canal, and apparently this fort was there to defend against that. Cool. Here we are again with all the birds in the zone. I'm a little bad at myself for keep shooting this area. I should have ventured out more and tried to do other things. I think I can do something with this. This is cool with the motorcycle. Great little cafe. I loved it. The photo isn't enough for me to sell it. One of the malls, it was actually funny because the mall had no power, but people were still there, and even the clerks were like, okay, just let me use my cell phone to charge you for whatever you're buying. The park again. I wish I shot this better. I'm still trying to work it, but no, it's not making it work. Okay, this is a monument where they're actually doing a whole ceremony, and I'm sad that I was shooting this in black and white, but I couldn't change film at the time because they were using these beautiful dress blues and red suits that they were wearing as they did this little memorial ceremony. My focus, there it is. The monument, not much to it. And the airport, wow, these things are really out of order. Okay, here we are at the last roll of film. Let's go look at it. All right, me back in the park again. This was cool. I wanted the focus to be more on the guy, but I see in the background it's working out, so I'm okay with this. Yet again, carrying around a big metal old school camera, people look at you, so everybody's like, oh my god, that's so cool, and kind of missed that shot. Okay, so I like the fact that my settings worked for this scenario, but you need that subject to really push it. Nope. So I wish I had an interesting subject. Me really trying to make this street photo work, just can't get it. That's cool. A little unsuccessful with that pink thing there. I'm pretty sure that's a finger. Me trying to add elements into a photo and not being very good at it. Ugh. That's cool. Cool in the barrier wall with cannons. Park, it's alright. That's a good portrait. I think I tried hard on that and did pretty well. Ooh, I like how that looks. Taxi, nothing special, but I have seen photos like that before. Alright, so there were the rolls of film. Let's actually take this to editing and see how we do, okay? So in the end, we took over 128 photos and I came out with 23 photos. Not such a bad haul. I mean, most of photographers will never do this, and we shouldn't. I probably shot roughly 18% when it came to my photo success rate. That shouldn't really count for how many times, most photographers are out there shooting for days and rolls and rolls and rolls, and you only see their best work. And that's a big thing that a lot of people don't talk about. When it comes to photography, you're only showing your best work, and this is me going a little bit out of character, showing you my mistakes as I go. But I wanted you to see kind of where my head was. So 18%, that means I pretty much shot, 1 out of every 5 photos was actually successful. Lesson learned. So my thoughts, shooting with film was interesting. My perspective was changed. I wasn't really shooting like I normally would because my Fujifilm, I'm more attached to it and I'm more intimate with those shots. It was interesting to see how my photography changed with this. Now, when it comes to film photography though, I don't think I'll be doing a lot more of that just because it's so expensive, it's so time consuming, and our pixel rates. I mean, I shoot almost exclusively in RAW, and when I shoot in RAW, that means I have room to save things. Also, another big thing was autofocus. I wear bifocals. These things save my life for everything. So shooting something like this where I have to trust my eyesight is a terrible thing for me. So it was cool to try it. I don't think that's going to be my go-to. Digital will save me and have me shooting at the level I think I should be shooting at. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in. Yet again, follow me at my Instagram at CLC Tori Lee, and we'll see what's going on in the next month, okay? Catch you on the flip side.